I'm trying to let me build it up, man. Let me build this up, man. You're trying to break me up. You're trying to break the. I'm trying to build something here.
So the question is,
definitely putting this on today.
am I wrong for refusing to give my stepdaughter an inheritance?
What?
So my 32-year-old, no, my husband. So no, the woman is 32. Husband passed away earlier this year. Our children, 6 and 3, and I inherited his entire estate, which in total is worth almost $1 million. When he was in high school, my husband had a child with his girlfriend at the time. He broke up with his girlfriend once he found out she was pregnant, saying he wasn't ready to be a father yet. He visited her maybe once every few years when he was alive.
Maybe wear a condom if you weren't. Anyway, continue.
My stepdaughter. I mean, yeah, I don't know. When he was in high school, right? So he was probably very young.
He's probably had teenage fever as well, like Drake.
My stepdaughter and her mother are very poor. They have struggled financially ever
Are you
ever
laughing
since
at
my
people's
husband's death, as they no longer receive child support. They're struggling to pay rent and risk getting evicted. My stepdaughter reached out to me begging for her share of the inheritance. I feel bad for her, but my husband clearly stated in his will that he wanted to leave his entire estate to me and my children only. I barely even know my stepdaughter, and I don't think it's my responsibility to take care of her. She's furious with me, calling me a heartless gold digger and saying that giving her money was the least I could do to make up for the years of neglect. And so she's asking KaiR, is she wrong for refusing to give the stepdaughter an inheritance?
First of all, it's already reeking of entitlement, because neglect is a big word here. The guy was paying child support according to what the OP is saying. So, child neglect is where you are totally not adding any value and doing nothing for the kid. If you're paying child support, you cannot say that he's neglecting the child. That's first of all. Second of all, is she wrong for doing this? She would have been wrong apparently there is a will. A will is put together when someone usually is still clear of mind, not in the Biden state. There are people that use the situation when people are in the Biden state to sway the situation towards their whatever they want. In this case, the man was apparently, it seems like, still of sane mind. He wasn't walking into empty aircrafts at a arrival of people that were hostage by Russia, entering a aircraft, a plane for minutes, then empty. I'm trying to let me build it up, man. Let me build this up, man. You're trying to break me up. You're trying to I'm trying to build something here. Anyway, just like Biden had a short clear of mind and he exited that airplane, this man has also a clear of mind when he put that will together. So he didn't add the daughter in there. I'm not sure what age the daughter is. Does it say
the
anything?
the age of the daughter? She's 16 years old.
Okay.
So the two children that she has with the late husband are 6 years and 3 years old, and
Yeah.
the other one is 16 years old, so 10 years older than their oldest.
So we don't. We also know that women usually apply grown math when it comes to the situations like this. When it comes to um, child support. Um, so instead of building that money, using that money to um, build the kids' income, or putting the money away, using part for clothing, etc., they use it as extra income, using it to pay rent, car notes, and all that stuff. And when the money is gone at 18, then it becomes like a hole. So I would say no, the woman is not wrong for choosing that. I said all that, bringing Biden into this just to say that she is not wrong. That's
I don't think
the
so.
man's
It's
will. I mean,
Yeah,
it seems
so-
you can do two things, but I'm not saying that she's right as well, right? You can do two things. You can maybe give her, I don't know how much money they inherited, but that's also a case, because if it's 5,000, then I would say you can give her maybe $500. But yeah, anyway.
So the way I see it is there are a couple of misconceptions that I want to address. First, neglect. I understand what you're saying about the child support. That's purely, if you take it like purely legally. I think in her case, she's also thinking about the emotional one. So it's not only the legally neglect or no, but it's also like, you weren't there. You abandoned my mother when you found out she was pregnant. You were well, let me see, who was in high school. Yeah, he was in high school too. Yeah, so they were both in high school, and he abandoned her. So that was probably just scared, etc.
That's the
is
story
that an excuse? No, responsibility is
that's only one
responsibility.
part of the story. That's only one part
Yeah.
of the story as well. So
Yeah,
let's not act like that's
no,
the,
but that's
that's the standard. What people say. Maybe the mom didn't want to continue with the guy, and she's telling
Yeah,
out a
but-
story.
yeah, but the current wife, the current widow, is saying what
What
her
stepdaughter.
late husband said. The late husband could have also said, she didn't want me in the baby's life. How would the widow know? She wouldn't. So it's like the wife wouldn't know. So, but that's just one thing. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
the neglect argument, I think it's more than just money. Secondly, this is a misconception that the stepdaughter has, talking about her share of the inheritance. And it's what you said. An inheritance is left behind by a person, and it can be either lawfully or through a will. So if you don't have a will, then you need to look at the rules of law. And probably if the man didn't have a will, then yes, she would have probably had an inheritance, providing that he recognized her as a father. And if not, there are ways to look at it, but you need to establish the familial bond, etc. But she would have had a chance. But in this case, the person who was, or the original owner, who is the father of the stepdaughter, decided in a will, when he was sound of mind, because they were young. I wasn't there, so I assume that he was sound of mind, to leave his properties and assets and liabilities to his current wife and the two children. And so the stepdaughter has a perception that seems like she wants her share of an inheritance, but If the father didn't leave anything behind for her, she can't speak of an inheritance. Now, that out the way, the husband decided to leave it behind to the wife and the two children. Once that transaction has taken place, after the man died, shouldn't have used that word maybe, but okay.
26 minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the clips, not the long shorts. But anyways, then it became property of the wife and the children respectively.
Yeah.
And as the wife, now you have a choice to do what you want with it. So the widow, right? So the widow now has a choice. Actually, as a widow, you're not forced to give the stepdaughter anything unless the stepdaughter believes that there's a legal ground, and then she should take them to court, right? But as it stands right now, we know that the stepdaughter doesn't have right to anything because the will clearly states that she has been excluded.